Hey everyone, and welcome to Kandy's Quarantine Conversations with me, Kandy Delore. Joining me today from the US is the real Tanisha. Give a wave, please. Author of Stop Being a Baby Mama. We also have Lauren from the UK, who is a single mother of two. And we are joined by Sarah from Canada, who is also a single mother of two. And today we are actually going to have a conversation about men who have been very active in the Black Lives Matter protests. However, they are also neglecting and rejecting their own children. Tanisha, would you mind telling us a bit about yourself before we get involved in the deep conversation?
Well, I'm a single mother of four, single because I'm not married. I just recently had a new baby at 41 years of age. I have an adult child that's 21. I have a background in law enforcement, and I'm an author of a book called Fuck Being a Baby Mama, a single mom's guide to coins, class, and clarity.
Brilliant, brilliant. That sounds really good. So, what are your views on men who are involved in the protests and not looking after their children, or they're rejecting their kids, or even denying them?
Well, I haven't been following the group of men that's involved in the Black Lives Matter. So, I would imagine from the outside looking in, you would think that if somebody's involved in a movement like that, they would be active in their children's lives. So to find out that it's men that's actually probably participating in something like this and they're not active, that's very disheartening.
Yes, yes. And I'd like to present the same question to Lauren, please. I'm sure, especially coming from England as well, where we've got the we've got the highest coronavirus toll death rate going on right now. And to know that there are men actually out there not caring about this just as much as they don't care about their children, fighting for a cause and not caring about their own creations. What do you think about this?
Well, the experience I've had recently, I've got two daughters, one's 14 and one is 8, and they have different fathers. And the younger one's dad's very involved, can't, say a word against him, is doing amazing. And my children are of a mixed race. And yesterday I was quite surprised to see, I don't know if you've seen the video footage of Anthony Joshua at he was at the Watford protests, and he was, giving his empowered speech, and it was wonderful to hear. But actually on his right hand side, holding the piece of paper that he was reading from was my daughter's dad. Now, my daughter's dad has not seen her for a year, has hidden all of his money from the child maintenance service, and is actually offering and providing Anthony Joshua's security at a time where he is telling the child maintenance service that he's not working, or in fact, he's earning £200 a week, which I know is not the case, and I have tried for 14 years to get them to see all the lies that he's making, but for that to have reached as far and as wide as it has, and I completely stand with the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm the parent of two mixed race children, but like you say, people are out mixing with other people, which I think with Black and mixed ethnicity and Asian mixed ethnicity, people are being a lot more affected by the coronavirus, and they are in the highest category for deaths. I certainly said to my daughter and to some of my friends, please do think twice before you are mixing in this. I know the message is important. I am with you. But I think that in a few weeks, they are going to find the biggest impact on that group of people. So, in both ways, it was disheartening to see somebody stand up there with Anthony Joshua, who's got such a big, worldwide presence, and have him stand there, with the gall to stand there, knowing that you don't support your child, you don't see your child, you don't even financially support from a distance. So yeah, it was shocking. It was shocking for me.
I can definitely relate to that. I mean, my daughter's dad, he's involved in her life. However, my son's dad is not. And I saw him post a quote that's been going around on social media. I don't know if you've heard of it. They've got a male version and a female version. And it says, "I am a black man. I do not tear down other black men." I don't know if any of you have seen that quote going around, particularly for the women. But anyway, he posts that, brought to my attention. And I just thought, well, you're the biggest hypocrite ever, because number one, you are tearing down a black man. In fact, you're tearing down a black boy by not being in his life. And you're also tearing down a black woman by leaving her to be a single mother and not caring about, you know, the life that you've created. So I definitely understand your frustration there and can relate to it. And to see your child's father standing next to a celebrity like Anthony Joshua and realizing, you know, and Anthony Joshua probably doesn't have a clue that he's standing next to a deadbeat dad, so to speak, or an absent father. But, you know, it just goes to show, like, you know, your child's father is out there, you know, he's wanting attention, obviously. But what about the attention that his kids crave from him? I just think some of these men really have their priorities twisted, and it's absolutely disgusting. So Sarah, hi Sarah.
Hi, how are you all doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for joining us today. So I'd like to ask you the same question. How, you know, what's your views and opinions on men who have been actively supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, yet don't check on their kids, don't have any involvement with them, just don't care?
I think a lot of it also has to do with saving face. I think some of them, people, it's to give them something to suck on, or you know, to question if even the truth about what they're really doing to their children, right? I know my children's father, he is an activist in the United States. He has not provided for my children. He, you know, works under the table. He knows how to run. And so he's just seeing them, even him on the front line on news and on social media. And my 9-year-old daughter just says, you know, how come he doesn't even take care of us, and the things that he's saying, because he talks about taking care of one another and loving each other. So it's very frustrating that at the end of the day, also those who do are and know very well that these people that are a part of the protesting and marching, they know that they don't take care of their children, and to the fact that no one is calling them out or sitting them down or even marching for us single mothers. Or you know, I was telling Tanisha, you know, when are we going to get our march for our children, right? And the injustice that's being children.
Yes, I can totally understand what you mean there, Sarah. When are our children going to get their march? Because father absence has a role to play right now in society. It's also number one main cause of a lot of things that are happening, a lot of negative things that are happening to women and children. And I think that while we are protesting and standing for what's right with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, we need to speak about what's right for our children as well. And, you know, I'm saying that these men must be forced into having relationships with children, because obviously the children will feel it. But at the same time, you know, it needs to, and light needs to be shone on the frustration of single mothers, and also, you know, how children are going to feel who see their fathers actively fighting for lives that have nothing to do with them, you know, and they're not being called about. So I think that what you said about them being called out, it needs to happen. You know, the same way that people are speaking out about Black Lives Matter and the mistreatment of Black people, we need to speak out about the mistreatment of single mothers, and more importantly, the mistreatment of the children of those single parents who, you know, are feeling neglected, abandoned. It's basically child abuse, you know, and then we have these same people who are committing these acts out there fighting for people who they didn't even know. You know, they're looking to lose their lives. We're in the midst of a pandemic where, you know, you can catch this coronavirus very easily. You can possibly even die. And to know that for some men, that cause is worth them dying, it's worth their death. But having a relationship with their children, fighting to be, you know, a part of their kids' life is not worth it. It just makes you really wonder, you know, what type of people these men actually are. And Sarah, you mentioned it earlier, the word that I often use on Kandy Care's page about these types of men, narcissists. Yeah. That is what many of them are. They're actually narcissists. They're very immature. They have got their priorities wrong. And the people who support them, I mean, it's absolutely, I can't even find a word for it right now, but it's absolutely horrendous. The amount of people who are aware that these men don't look after their children, yet support them and, you know, engage with them and even attend the protests with them.
Something, it is very traumatizing to see them in that position where they are encouraging and so-called projecting this image that they're not about that. And I believe that, I think that people should do a background check and even interview the mothers of the children that they have children with and the children, because it's very traumatizing.
Yes.
Because they're unknowingly becoming enablers.
Yes. I definitely agree with that. They are becoming enablers. People who just simply associate with these types of men are basically saying, it's okay. I stand by you not supporting your child's mother or not knowing your child. And I stand by you protesting for Black Lives Matters when half of the people you're protesting for, you don't even know them. Yeah. You know, children must come first. You know, and men, it's absolutely disgusting to see so many men. I mean, we're talking about thousands here, who are absent fathers, but are fighting for a cause, you know, for other people's lives that they value more than they value the lives that they've created. And I think the main underlying question is, why? Why are they doing this? And it brings it back to, you know, being a narcissist. But I want to know why they feel it's okay, why they don't have any shame, why they don't feel any embarrassment, why people who know that they're going to these protests don't say anything to these men. They don't say, well, we're in the midst of a pandemic. You know, why don't you try to make amends with your child's mother? Or why don't you try to get to know your child? Because as much as we, you know, bang on about Black Lives Matter, this actually comes into the category of all lives matter. And I think that, you know, for a child who is aware that their father is actually going out to these protests, or even might notice on social media that they're posting support of these protests, but have never supported them, have never acknowledged them, have never contributed towards their lives, it's hurtful. And that child, particularly male children, they are going to grow up feeling resentment, feeling anger, you know. And for women, you know, this is where the pattern starts coming of choosing the wrong man and stuff like that. And it's something that they will live with and they will remember forever, that times that they didn't know about while neglecting the lives that they have made. And to me, you know, I just think that there's nothing worse than that right now. I just going on, and I'm aware that there are mothers who are doing this, you know, but I'm thinking about the strong ones, the men who are not up to, may he rest in peace. It was very, you know, tragic what happened to him. And you know, my thoughts are with his family, and you know, I'm glad that the protests have you know, made people realize just how much Black Lives Matter. But we need to focus on the living if we're going to go forward as well. If we're going to try to make things better in society, we also need to focus on those children who are growing up without fathers, because their lives matter as well.
Mm.
So, is there anything? Sorry, Tanisha.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, sorry, it looked like you were going to say something.
I'm baffled because I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware that it was actually men out here, you know, protesting and wasn't involved in their children's life. I simply wasn't aware. That's why I'm sitting here with my hand over my chest. It's like, whew, wow. I'm a loss for words, and I'm not a person that's normally at a loss for words. So
Yeah.
I wasn't aware.
Yeah.
I think for
That's it.
myself, I believe that one of the reasons why some of them feel confident to put themselves out there, and you know, because they are aware that a lot of people too are not aware of what monsters really they are, how they've neglected
Mm.
children. And I think that society also has a part to play for their confidence in how they behave, you know, and boldly. Um, because I think that they should have a website, you know, for deadbeat parents. So that if you're in a relationship or you want to find out, you know, you can go on and see if he's on the list, right? Just like how they have a, you know, if you want to know who's a pedophile within your region, and you know, they need to do that um, with deadbeats, and also um, put a notice out, you know, to people to let them be aware, right? Have social media pages with their pictures or information,
Mm.
um, and yeah.
I think the issue with that is that these men paint us as scorned women. You know, the fact that we're just lowly single mothers who don't have any money, and we're just so sad that we don't have the man to love us anymore, and we're just on our knees begging for them. Never mind that most of us made the decision to leave that relationship, and now we're doing absolutely fine by ourselves. We're not viewed that way by society. And an issue that I have found is the way that he has separated me and his family. And he's always done that. So that means that he only ever gets, or they, sorry, only ever get his side of events. So I found out very recently that he had told them that he had done everything in his power to have a relationship with my daughter, but she had decided she didn't want one. Now he has just plucked that out of the air. But he has obviously painted me as that single mother. So they don't even take the time to say, do you know what, Lauren, as an educated woman, somebody who has brought this child up by yourself and done an amazing job, we're not going to take your opinion. We're not even going to question you and ask, how did that go? How do you feel about that? We're going to blindly believe this man who is our golden boy and believe that he has tried to do everything, even though we haven't seen any of these actions. And I believe that there's no way his family could know that he is hiding his money, because he is known as somebody who just works and works and works. And for them, they see that as being a provider, and that's fine. And if he was shoveling loads of money my child's way every month, maybe I think, do you know what, at least he's contributing in one way. It's not emotional, it's not physical, it's not any of those ways, but there is that money there. I really don't think that they would know that he's going out of his way to hide all of his money per less than £25 a week, because I don't see how anyone could stand by and say, do you know what, that's okay. That's okay that you don't provide for it even financially. So I think that narcissistic trait that you've brought up is exactly right, and that divide and conquer is another thing.
Yes, most definitely. I have to agree with that. And they're very good at conjuring up these lies. And, you know, to be honest, I think that the family are to blame by just listening to one side. To be honest, I think that if I was in your shoes and I saw the father of my child out protesting in Anthony Joshua, in me would have probably come out and I would have commented all over that post. If they didn't know he wasn't dad, they would have known. He would have known on that post by then. I'm not saying to go and do it. I'm not encouraging that sort of behaviour, but just the anger in me, I would have exploded. I wouldn't have been able to hold it in.
Yeah.
But I must say that you dealt with that extremely well. And it's just, you never know who you're protesting with, especially when you're fighting for a cause that you're passionate about, that means something, that, is supposed to bring in change, because that's what people are ultimately fighting for. That is what they're protesting for. They want positive changes. So the hypocrisy of men who are out there supporting this, yet they won't even incite any change in their relationships with their children or their children's mothers, it really is disgusting. Tanisha looks absolutely flabbergasted. That's a UK word.
I have so much just going through my mind right now. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's disgusting, isn't it?
It's like, for me, I'm sitting here, I'm listening, and let me just calm down, because this is a lot. I'm listening to what everybody's dealing with. Who was it, Sarah or is it Lauren? I don't want to mix up the two. Whose child's father was protesting?
Lauren's.
If it was me, this is me speaking, I wouldn't have connected to. I wouldn't have, when I say I wouldn't have connected to, I wouldn't have compared him marching in the Black Lives Matter with the absentee of the child. And this is why I wouldn't have done it. First, I would have been pissed, but I wouldn't have wanted to take away from the cause of the Black Lives Matter movement because of what he has going on in his personal life. And I'm not condoning his behavior. Don't think that I just wouldn't have connected the two. But being a single mom, when I say I'm single, it's because I'm not married. My children's father, we have difference of agreements all the time, but I don't verbally, verbalize it publicly as much as I probably could, because I have older kids and I always watch what I say about my children's father, because the way I look at it, a person can only do what they know. Some men don't even realize the bull crap that they're doing because they have nobody to educate them on their terrible behavior. And that's what was the purpose of my book, is for single mothers, because I'm a Black mother. We from the hood, you are known as a baby mother, and they'll put the worst derogatory picture that they can of a Black mother, like we're ghetto, we uneducated, we can't take care of our kids, we on benefits, and that's not the case. So when I wrote my book about being a baby mama, it was strictly to not even worry about the mishaps of what your kid's father is doing at all. Worry about the positivity that you can instill in your children, that you can create in your lives from your pain. Like, I don't worry about what my kid's father does, and he's active and he's around, but we're not together at all. Our breakup was total heartbreaking. The reason we broke up, oh my God, it was devastating. But I don't worry about it. And when I'm listening to you, when you guys are beautiful women, I'm like, F him. Don't worry about what he's not doing. If you able to do it yourself, do it yourself. Don't worry about what he's not saying, because what he's saying does not matter, because you know that's not the truth. And don't get me wrong, I'm just talking on a mild scale, because believe me, I know the pain. But I chose to turn whatever was hurting me into a positive image, because at the end of the day, like you say, your kids are 14 and 8. My kids are 21, 19, 16, and 7 months. You don't have to say anything about your child's father. They're going to know it. You don't have to say anything about yourself. They're going to know it, because You can't have the truth. And like my grandmother used to always say, that a man don't take care of his child will not eat. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not condoning the fact that if he don't want to take care of his child, or he's not giving you child support, he's not giving you money, don't worry about it. It's nothing he's doing. He's not going to get away with anything. Marching, protesting, portraying somebody that he's not, eventually it's going to come out, even with you not even putting it on blast. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to say nothing about nobody's wrongdoing. Anything that's done in the dark will come to light. I'm just sitting here baffled that the fact that somebody will even be on the front line knowing that what they're not doing behind closed doors. I'm sitting up here blown back. Like, how can you sleep good at night? You understand what I'm saying? Knowing that you out there like a fraud. But as a mother, I wouldn't have linked the two, because you don't want to take away from the cause. But at the same time, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Most definitely.
That's wrong. And I'm sitting here with my hand like this because I was not aware. I'm like, how could you even sleep good at night? And I'm like, all these beautiful women on this call, God, you're going to be blessed. Your kids are going to be taken care of regardless of what he does. I'm just blown back. I
can totally understand how you're feeling right now, because you weren't aware of it. But as somebody who is very aware of it, I have to say that, not knocking the Black Lives Matter movement at all, but we want genuine people who are protesting about Black Lives Matter. Men are out there, who don't care about their kids, so their support is not genuine. They don't even care about their own children. So how can they care about Black Lives Mattering? It's not genuine support. And sometimes, it's not good to stay silent. The protesters are not staying silent. Sometimes staying silent is what builds the frustration inside of you. And this is why we have the outcome that we do with the Black Lives Matter protests, of people rioting and damaging things. It is a suppression of that frustration. And it happens to everybody, and it happens to single mothers too, who feel like, their children are being, because that's your kids, that's your creation. So when you see a man, who you made these kids with, just abandon them and then support other people, it really does, I wouldn't even say hurt, but it makes you angry.
Yeah. For me, sorry to cut in, Kandy. I just wanted to say, I've heard a lot, and I have processed a lot about the whole, don't worry about what they're doing. You just look after your child. And of course, that's what I'm doing every single day. I'm providing, I'm emotionally supporting, I'm here physically, I'm doing everything I can. But I can't sit here and just be blindly going, oh, do you know what? I'll just ignore the fact that they're saying Black Lives Matter, but the Black life that they helped create doesn't matter. And it's clout chasing, that standing in front and wanting the media and everyone, imagine the amount of messages he will have got saying, what a hero, wow, so glad to see you up there, fighting for Black lives. How about just thought, you've only created one Black life, how about you support that in one small way? And like you say, I'm not going to sit here anymore and just take it. I'm 14 years down the line of taking it and taking the high road and thinking, well, I'll do my best. There comes a time when you have to say, stand up. And if you're going to stand there and protest for something, then be about it. Actually live that. We're big and strong enough to join you and represent you and say, do you know what, we're here for single mothers, because we're living this. This is our life experience. So as far as I'm concerned, my children are looked after, but I can't take that as, whatever he does, that gives him carte blanche to do anything. And men are unfortunately given carte blanche to go out. They get the full-time job. They get the flash cars. They get the holidays. While we usually choose to do the part-time job because we want to give our child that time. Or some of us are running around from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Then you have to come home, do the dinners, do the out-of-school activities, be the emotional support, and then try and find time to be your own person, keep fit, have some friends, have a life, and all while we're downtrodden and spoken to, like we're nothing. So
Yeah.
I can't agree. I can't agree with that, unfortunately.
Yes, now I can totally understand where you're coming from, and I agree with you. I agree with everything that you have just said. I think that maybe Tanisha might have that view because she didn't know that this was happening. She wasn't aware, and sometimes you have to actually be in it to know how it feels.
Yeah.
So because you and I, we have that in common. We are actually in that place of seeing our children's fathers, giving cause to Black Lives Matter and giving meaning to it, but yet not instilling that same, force and passion into our kids. We
Exactly.
will feel this way. But yeah, Tanisha feels differently due to her not being able to relate to it, which is understandable.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Kandy's conversations, because we've got lots of different people with different circumstances and different views. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that even though we disagree on certain things, we do walk away with different types of information, and get to see other people's points of view sometimes, and maybe even look at things with a fresh perspective. But Sarah, is there anything that you would like to add to what Lauren has just said? Okay.
Yes, I concur with Lauren. I'm 100% um in agreement with her and her stance as well. I also understand with Tanisha. My children's father is he's a Black American, and I know that there is a cultural way of um moving forward and healing, because some of the stuff that she said to Lauren, I've heard that from my children's father's family and people, um from America, to don't worry about what he's doing, and you just, raise your well, obviously we're raising our children, but I fully am in agreement, and I think that um this conversation was much needed, and I thank you for it. Your platform has helped me, especially when I was pregnant and I was confused, being that my children's father is a narcissist, and I had, um, he came back, loved bomb, was doing playing the role of perfect dad, and only for him to make a request for me to accept, because I was looking at the fruits, which are really counterfeit fruits, they're not real, and so I went to America so that he could see his daughter upon his request, you know so your page, when you were talking about narcissism and why they'll get you pregnant again and stuff, like it really helped me with my healing process. And so I thank you for being a voice for single mothers and changing, giving the true narrative, because we are shamed, we are spoken down, of evil of, and depicted in a certain light. And so I just want to thank you for that. It really means a lot.
Well, you're welcome. I want to thank you for taking part in this discussion today, because it really means a lot to me as well. I think that when we all band together and we share our, experiences and our opinions, it also helps other women who are in this situation. Because I'm sure there are many women feeling like, my child's father is out there protesting. He's posting all these black things. He doesn't care about our kids. You have to let them know you're not alone. There are other women who feel like this. There are other women who share in your frustration. So that's why it's so important to speak out. And I thank you for doing so. Okay, well, it's unfortunate that Tanisha has lost connection, but I will leave her social media link if anybody wants to check Tanisha out and her book, Fuck Being a Baby Mama. You can find her at The Real Tanisha 78 on Instagram. And I want to thank everyone for participating in this call and for sharing their views and opinions. If you can relate to this situation and you're a single mother who just wants to release some frustration or speak about the father of your children being involved in the protests but not being involved in your children's lives, feel free to send me a DM at at candy.doll on Instagram, and I will reply to you, or preferably please send the DM to candycares _, and one of my reps will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care and stay safe. Thank you.